Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today is Monday. It's the beginning of the work week, maybe for my construction crew. We'll see if they show up this morning. I don't have a specific time. All I know is that they're supposed to be in the first week of September, as my contractor told me. So normally that would start out on a Monday morning, but we'll see. Anyway, yesterday I visited my friends down in Barangay. It was the baptismal party after the baptism of Tessa's grandson, and his name is Denzel. And so I got to enjoy some of the festivities down there, and I'll show a little bit of that video here in just a little bit. But I want you to see, I have fresh panisal this morning. And what morning would not be complete without something as wonderful as fresh panisal and a cup of some great coffee? And of course, being able to talk with your wonderful asawa here first thing in the morning. So anyway, that's how I am starting my day out, which is why I have such a big smile on my face this morning. Well, yesterday, like I was saying, I attended the baptismal. And it was a great day, except it was a pretty big washout with all the rain. And like I said, I will show you that later on. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get today started. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Now, before I get started with today's activities here, I want to share with you yesterday's video from Tessa's grandson's baptismal party down in the barangay of here. I'm sure if you've been following the videos over the long run, you'll recognize a lot of the faces from the barangay from my earlier videos. So anyway, sit back and enjoy. I've already eaten. I am full now, very full.
How are you? It's been a long time. Hello.
You're getting so big,
Hello. I'm here.
Where's your husband? He went back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
Hello, Janet. How are you? Well, before I get too deep in my cream of mushroom soup here, I think it's a great opportunity to do a 2 or 3 shout-outs real quick. So the first one is a belated birthday shout-out. And a belated birthday shout-out is not because the person who submitted it late. It's because of me. I am in a shuffle trying to catch up with a bunch of my emails and requests for shout-outs. But anyway, the first one is from Alex Arlan, who is a OFW in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And he wanted to mention and make sure that we know that his friend, his old high school friend, Angelina Valdez Nueve, turned a sprite 54 years young on the 1st of September. Angelina is she's an elementary school teacher in Western Samar. So anyway, to you, Angelina, I want to wish you a happy birthday. Well, as you probably know, I normally do shout outs only for birthdays, anniversaries, and for OFW recognition for their sacrifice for their families back here in the Philippines. And I get a lot of requests for just this, can you say a shout out to a friend of mine or a family member, things like that. And if I did that, and I apologize, if I did that, I really wouldn't have a lot of time for content because I get so many requests for things like that on this channel. But sometimes an event will coincide and I find it's appropriate to do a shout out. And this is one of them, because remember yesterday I went to the baptismal party for Tessa's grandson, Denzel. And our last shout out today is, again, it's outside of my scope. But I'm going to go ahead and include this one today. One time only. I'm breaking my own rules. So, and the reason I'm doing this is it has to do with another baptismal event. Anyway, this is from Christy Talavera, and it's for her grandson, Neo Alazo Linga, who's going to be turning 8 months old. I don't normally do it by the months, but again, I'm doing this one out of the scope of what I normally do. He'll be turning 8 months old on September 6th, and he just had his baptismal this past August. And let me go ahead and share a picture from that wonderful event. The proud family of Neo, they reside in Pandacan, which is inside Manila. So you notice, I'll put the light on so you can see, you'll notice that the workshop is much cleaner than it was before. All the items, all the stuff that were sitting on top of all of the workbench, most of that is gone now and it's organized. It's put on the shelves in the generator room. Most of it was building materials and tools. So I got those put up where I can see them now, where I don't have to lift on top of one piece of equipment on top of the other, look underneath something and find what I'm looking for. So that helped out. Also, the floor is all swept up. It needs to be mopped. And my builder is supposed to bring somebody in to scrape in between all of the tile and make the tile look like it did when it was new, when it was first installed. It would have been, again, so simple had they put some plywood down or some tarps or cardboard, almost anything, and then it would look brand new. They wouldn't have to do anything, but now he's going to have to spend a week with a couple of guys doing a bunch of cleaning inside here, but it's got to be done. Also, I worked on the yard today. Let's take a quick look at what the yard looks like after it got mowed. Well, I did not forget about those 3 stone samples from CW Home Depot the other day, but I just haven't had a chance to get to them. But I have them right now. Before I run into town to grab some other items, I just want to look real quick. Now, remember, CW is not here. The closest one, I believe, is in Santa Rosa. So today's trip is just going to be City Hardware and, I believe, Wilcon. Now, I have not forgot about those 3 samples of stone for the fence post that I picked up at CW Home Depot just the other day. And what I want to do right now, before I go on the shopping trip to go grab some other items for the house, is I just want to look at these 3 samples just to see if they are something I'm interested in using for stone cladding around the fence post. So let's take a look at these, the 3 samples that I picked up the other day. Now let's take a look one at a time and just put it up next to the post with the house in the background to kind of get an example. Same like what we did with the tiles that we got from Wilcon the other day. I got to tell you, it's really hard for me to make an evaluation trying to stand there with my right arm holding it up against the post But I will tell you this, I do most of my decisions when I review and I'm doing the editing of the videos later on. But I gotta tell you right now, I'm still going with the gray, just from preliminary, just now looking. Remember the first one that I selected on the other set was the gray, and this is the least expensive. You see, this is $159, and the other two are $199. And remember the ones that we looked from from Wilcon. The ones from Wilcon, they were $225 and I can't remember the other price, like $259 or something like that, for those. So the $159 right there is actually looking like it could possibly be what we might be installing here. Now, before I go on my shopping trip, I want to get the wet vac here, and I want to clean out this trench right here. We got all that rain. We just put this ficus tree up here, and of course when you first transplant a tree or a shrub, it's going to lose a lot of the leaves, and that's just an adjustment it's making, and then all the new leaves will come. And it lost some inside of here. I will probably have to put some type of a mosquito screen netting or steel screening inside here so it doesn't slip through this area and clog up the drain there. But let me go ahead and clean this out with the vacuum cleaner, and then I think what we'll do is probably proceed downtown. Now, before we go downtown, I want to share a craziness that happened just a couple of nights ago. What I call a phenomenon from here in the Philippines. Now, it might occur in different places around the world, but surely not at my home in the U.S. in Charleston, South Carolina. Well, there was these insects that just seemed to invade the house during a lightning storm and some rain just a couple of nights ago. You remember when I lived in the small apartment, and I told the story about how I was sitting there working on a computer editing the night's video, and then I kept feeling things just falling on my head and on my shoulder and down my back, and I kept knocking them off. And then I looked up at the roof, and I saw the roof was covered with these looked like big winged ants up there, and it happened during like a lightning storm and a big rain that we had. The rain was just like slamming on that aluminum tin roof, and it was crazy night. Well, it happened here too at Villa Feliz, and I don't know how they got in the house, but they're getting around because we have the screens, and they can find their way. And underneath the doors, the doors. There's no doors that are sealed, I don't think, around here. They have a big gap underneath. Well, anyway, I was sitting there one night, 2 nights ago, and I was working on the video, and all of a sudden on the table on the island, these little things just keep dropping inside it. And I look up, and on the ceiling there's the same thing, the black ants with the wings. Then I looked at the floor, and there were ants all over the floor. Well, anyway, I took some video of the next morning when I went out on the front porch of just because I had knocked off a bunch of them. And I said, before I knock them off, all the columns on the front, let me get a little bit of a video picture to share with you. But these are the creatures that were coming in underneath the door and going all through the house. So I asked my wife about that. I asked my asawa Ness, and she said, that's normal in the Philippines. That happened all the time during a certain time of year, during a lightning storm and rain. And if you have lights on in the house, these winged ants are attracted to the light, and they come inside. And she calls it the GAMO event. I guess that's what they call these winged ants, GAMO. Anyway, they came in, and I spent the whole night long with the wet vac, all night long, up on the ceiling, on the floor, and it happened again the next night. What I ended up doing the next night, I closed all the windows and doors, and what I did, no screens or anything, just closed the windows. And what I did was I turned the aircon on inside the great room. And I think when I woke up the next morning, there was maybe like 6 or 7 of those ants on there. So it actually worked, sealing those windows where they couldn't get in. So some of them were getting in under the door, plus some of them were getting in around the mosquito screen netting inside there. So if you do move to the Philippines, and something to expect, a possibility, you might be part of the Night of the Living GAMO. Well, as you can see, we did get our regular daily recommended supply of rain from rainy season here, and but it came late today. It didn't start until just maybe about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, and it's 5:45 right now, which means I don't think I'm going to go downtown. It's a little too late to go downtown and go do those things I promised you I was going to do, which I still promise you I'm going to do them, but just not today. I still need to go to Wilcon City Hardware and SM. Wilcon, I want to look at the cabinet for the workshop. City Hardware, I need for the workbench. I need to get some of the trim hardware for there. SM, I need to go to the grocery store, and I don't have to go to SM for that, but I want to stop by Clyde's. I'm having a craving for some of my Clyde's temptation desserts, so I want to get some of those. But while I'm there, I'm going to stop at the supermarket and get some bread and just a couple other things, because I have a lot of things that are good for bread here. Speaking of, since I don't have bread, I just got to think, what am I going to do for dinner tonight? And I remembered I got those pork chops. I have pork chops, and I have rice, and I got some vegetables. So I'll do some pork chops and rice tonight. So that's good for that. So for tomorrow, if my builder does not show up tomorrow, if he does not answer my text message, I'm going to send another text message. Then in the morning time, what we'll do is we'll run down and we'll pick up some of those supplies. I'll give him till probably around 9 o'clock or so for that. So that being said, I'm going to close for today. If you enjoyed today's video, as short as it probably is, I don't know, I haven't edited it yet, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, you have a wonderful and blessed day.